Nick Fuentes is sexually demented.
Not ready for that conversation, but Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile, but you're not ready for that conversation. All of his victims, 14 to 17. That's not pedophilia. Consent is not, I don't think that's really a real thing. I think that's like a feminist construct. And these like legal limits, I think that's very arbitrary.
And any person that defends this is sick.
Pedophilia is sex with children. Children are people that are before the age of sexual maturity. Now, you can have your opinion and your taste and your ethics and your morals, but after the age of 14, that is past the point of sexual maturity, just period, biologically. And all of these feminists and all of their accomplices, the simps, they all want to say there's only two genders. They want to talk about reproduction and genitals. Okay, let's talk about reproduction and genitals. When do men and women reach the age of sexual maturity? It ain't 18. It isn't 20. So you want to pull rank on me with morality? I would take you there.
If we want to go into the aspect of biology, we can have these conversations because these people don't really know what they're talking about. But that's not even the point of this conversation. Do you know how mentally twisted you have to be to not address the situation about Jeffrey Epstein and switch into a self-defense mechanism of defending yourself if you are ever to be engaged with a teenager as a full-grown adult?
Jesus Christ.
Do you know how messed up? Do you know how messed up you are to try to say that being called a pedo is a word that was used to hold men down? Meanwhile, a full-grown man messing with an adult is wrong regardless of whatever lens you want to look at it through.
Feminism is the matrix. And that is how women have browbeaten men with this, pedo, rapist, misogyny, all these words to prop up women's rights. That's ultimately what it's about. It's about women completing high school and going to college. That's what it is.
It is sad that you do not want to call the truth about Jeffrey Epstein being a crazy, messed up individual because you do not want to associate the word pedo to it. Because deep in your heart, deep in your mind, like Nick Fuentes, there's a chance that he might actually want to do the same thing in the future.
I want to drink it straight from the tap. I want it raw. I don't want to wait a moment. Right when the milk is good, I want to start drinking the milk. Same thing goes with women. Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old wife.
Let's break this down.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
When you see a full-grown man or woman well past the age of 40s, 50s, and they want to be with teenage children, there's only one equation that makes that stuff make sense.
This is a sickness.
And that is, you only view the opposite gender as sexual objects. Because there's nothing that a teenager or a child can give you as a full-grown person other than their body for you to enjoy.
He's right,
They cannot connect with you emotionally. They cannot connect with you mentally. They cannot connect with you psychologically because they do not understand the complexities of life at that age. So the only thing that you can enjoy from them is their body and their sexuality, which makes it super wrong.
Here's the thing. Everybody would say, I would never go, me, Epstein Island, I would never. And it's like, dude, you're telling me Jeffrey Epstein was probably so cool. Like he was probably the coolest guy you know. You're telling me the coolest guy you know who knows everybody says, hey, we're going to go on my private jet to my private island. We got hot girls. He doesn't tell you how old they are. How fucking lame would you be? Are they 18? Like, who's going to be the nerd that asks that? You probably would just assume they are. Or that it's in international waters, so it doesn't matter,
But we got people like Nick here saying that the only reason why this is categorized as a pedo is because people are not getting with young girls or men for marriage. They're getting with them to sleep with them.
The only reason, and let me tell you this, I'm not in favor of like everybody go have sex with 14-year-olds. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
The only reason that people are so horrified when people talk about like 16 and 17 not really being immoral, it's because we have a culture of casual sex and pornography and hookups and prostitution. That's why. Why is it considered completely depraved at age 17 and a half versus 18? Because we hate the idea of young, vulnerable girls being preyed upon by strange men by pimps, by pornographers. That's why it is abhorrent, because there is something true about that. If you are grooming a child into sex, if you're, or I should say a teenager, if you're grooming a teenager into sex, if you're grooming a teenager into prostitution, pornography, that is especially wicked, because teenage girls are vulnerable. Teenage girls arguably cannot make those decisions. But that is only because we live in a society where that kind of predation is happening.
So basically, it is cool to do things with a teenager as a full-grown adult, like Jeffrey Epstein, as long as you want to marry them and not take advantage of them for their sexuality. Are these people stupid?
You might be one of the dumbest folks on the planet Earth.
Do you know that somebody can marry you and your partner can still see you as an object? Being married does not save you from an abusive household. Being married does not save you from a sexually exploitive household. And being married does not mean that you're happy. So saying that, oh, the only reason why this thing is wrong is because men and women just want to sleep around, but instead of sleeping around, they should marry them.
By a man who only wants sex from her without marrying her. By a man that wants to pimp her out, that wants, whatever, all these things that are happening in our society. Take that up with a society that doesn't value marriage. Girls that get married at 15, 16, 17. But you recognize that that's different. If they're in a marriage where they're being provided for, they're going to have kids, they're going to become a mother, they're going to build a life with a man who's going to love them, that's different.
No, because if somebody marries you for sexual reasons, it is still wrong. Even though I promote marriage and unions, sex should not be the main reason why you marry somebody.
True. That's true. And yeah, that's true.
Sex should be one of the reasons why you marry somebody, but it should not be the main reason. It shouldn't be the top three. If these people marry for the sake of sex alone, it will never be enough. They will never be satisfied, because everybody will get old and everybody will get used up. They will always be looking for the brand new toy to play with.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
But you see these people, they just view young men, young women as objects. They view them as toys. They can only view them from one lens, and that is to please their sexual deviant desires. And because a teenager compared to a full-grown man cannot really understand what is good and what is wrong, they can easily be influenced to do some things that they know that they cannot easily do to a full-grown adult.
And by the way, that's how it was for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Do you know when age of consent became a thing? Like 30 years ago. That is a second wave feminist artifact, but you people are not ready for that.
Let's talk about this consent thing. It is true that consent just became a thing in like the 1970s, but if we broaden the scope to laws in general, there's a reason why laws exist. And why do laws exist? Laws exist because people naturally, or unfortunately, want to do some messed up things.
Fuck.
They tell you do not steal. Stealing is a crime because there are people that want to steal, and if you do not make that a law, people will do it and get away with it with your sick and twisted demented desires. So they made this age of consent thing because I am sure that people were doing some messed up thing with young people, but because there were no laws, there was nothing there to stop them.
Hey, properly aged, like wine. Women don't age like wine, they age like milk. They don't age like wine. That's not how their hormones work. That's not how they work. Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old wife. Let's say I get married to a 18-year-old now. 6-year age difference. When I turn 40, she's gonna be 34. Ew. What if I'm 30 and she's 16? 14-year age difference. When I'm 50, she'll be 36. When I'm 40, she'll be 26. And then now we're talking here. Now we're cooking with gas. Now you can see an alternative vision for how things could be. I want a 16-year-old that's untouched, pristine, untouched, uncorrupted, innocent. That's what we all want. And all 16-year-olds want an older guy who's like capable and strong.
Why aren't there laws that tell you what to do? And I believe that is because people don't naturally want to do good things. They naturally want to do things that please their sickness and please their perversions. So laws have to come in place. Don't do this, don't do that. If you do this, you get this. Don't do this. This is wrong. Don't do this. Because that is a sign that how you're thinking is probably not the right way to go. And this is how you know that this is messed up, because even Sneeko could not fully justify it. He couldn't even watch the rest of this video, but he had to dance around it and make it seem like it's not a big deal because Nick Fuentes is his boy.
Okay, I wanted to address this as well. And getting into the news from the day, people were asking me about this. This
This
from
whole
Nick's stream last
pedo
night.
thing, it's like, is it really pedophilia? I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take.
Very controversial
But that's
take.
not really the issue there, okay? The issue is not that they were barely legal teen.
Yeah, I don't want to keep playing this whole thing. Look, the way I see it, I think right now Epstein's become a meme, and people are saying he has aura and stuff, and they see the stuff with the island and the connections he had. And I don't think Nick meant that. I don't think he's saying that Epstein wasn't an evil person. Some of the victims are like 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old.
Ultimately, if you try to justify something that's wrong, there is a strong chance that you want to do the same act in the future. And this was from years ago.
Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old life.
No matter how much you look up to somebody, this is not even about Jeffrey Epstein anymore, because he was messed up. But no matter how much you look up to somebody, whether it's your parent, your uncle, your president, your leader, if you put them above the place of truth in your life, you are gonna end up encouraging and promoting some bad things that you never thought you could. Nobody should outweigh the place of truth, because it leads to wars, it leads to wrong ideologies, and it doesn't lead to a happy, successful, and fulfilling life. Let me know your opinions in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share.